Alright, what it do, citizens of P-Town? UFC 293, September's pay-per-view event, Adesanya versus Strickland. What are we doing, man? What are we doing here? What? This is what middleweight has come to, huh? Uh, Like, Sean Strickland. Anyways, we'll get into the main event. Let's go into the main card. I will have to say, full disclaimer, that I'm recording this video about 2 weeks early because I will be on vacation when this card is happening. And so, I won't be able to upload my immediate reaction, as well as because this is 2 weeks out, these matches and matchups and fights that are supposedly booked could change and alter as we get closer to the event. But until then, I'm just going to give my thoughts on what I feel are matchups that are notable. Starting with featherweight, we have Jack Jenkins versus Chipe Mariscal. This is a banger, man. This is a potential fight of the night right here. I don't know about that main event, but I think that this should be an awesome fight. Both these fighters have had great debuts or very entertaining debuts. With Jack Jenkins in UFC, I want to say 293. Yes, the Makachev versus Volk card had a great debut, and Chipe Mariscal, I believe he debuted the night of the Taporia versus Emmett card. Um, this is just a fantastic matchup. I thought this would happen later on, but I like what this is going now. I'm gonna go Chipe Mariscal by decision. I think that he performed a lot better against a very chaotic and just goofy Trevor Peak. I want to talk about that fight later, and chances are Mariscal's fight against Trevor Peak will be in my top 10 fights of the year. I just think that based on both these dudes' last two fights, I'm probably gonna lead Chipe Mariscal by decision. Jack Jenkins, took a split decision that arguably shouldn't have gone his way, even though he, didn't look terrible. I just think based on momentum, we'll go Chibi Marscal. But, honestly, pretty disappointed going to be missing this fight. This should be really awesome. Moving on, Carlos Ulberg versus Da Woon Jung. As much as I want to get behind an Asian fighter, honestly, I mean, is the sky blue? Carlos Ulberg by KO, man. Like, I mean, oh, man. I mean, it sucks for me to say that. Yeah, I mean, I like Carlos Ulberg, but want to back an Asian fighter, but I don't see it happening. Ulberg should get this by knockout. Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj. Tyson Pedro, I'm a fan of him, but he does kind of have that, not kind of, he has that Terrence McKinney curse, okay? If the fight doesn't end in a first round finish, then Tyson Pedro loses. That he's pretty consistent on that as well. So that pretty much goes for this prediction. I think he's Tyson Pedro's consistent enough to say, hey, either first round finish or he loses. Hopefully Pedro gets the win, and get back in the win column. Uh, Come back from that performance earlier this February. Justin Taffa versus Austin Lane. Justin Taffa by KO. All right, you got to get behind the Taffa brothers. How could you not like them? Not to say that Austin Lane isn't great or isn't really a cool fighter, but come on, man, come on. Yeah, let's hopefully get the run back after the eye poke incident. So yeah, Justin Taffa. Manel Kopp versus Felipe dos Santos, also a pretty easy matchup, I think. Manel Kopp is pretty well rounded, pretty good ground game. And yes, I'm not familiar with Felipe dos Santos. I believe this is a UFC debut, and I'm going to go with Manel Kopp on this one. Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. I mean, Volkov's a tall boy. He's a tall boy, but come on, man. Like, who does not want Tai Tuivasa to get back in the win column, okay? After getting knocked out twice. All right, come on. Let's go Tai. Let's go Tai. And last but not least, the main event. Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. I got Adesanya by decision, man. Dominant 49-46 or 50-45 decision. Okay. I I just don't see what Sean Strickland brings to the table that makes me think that he could be Adesanya. All right. I can definitely give Strickland some props. I mean, for one, he's worked up a good amount of wins at middleweight. He's rarely lost at 185. He's been very active. He's fought pretty much not everybody, but he is willing to fight anybody. Um, he's got good cardio. He jabs a lot. He jabs a lot. Okay. You know what? For a fundamental that is the jab, I feel like is sometimes underutilized, and in MMA, and at least what separates the best fighters are just fighter. Can sometimes come down to just a fighter that uses a really good jab. As much as I think jabs are important, dude. For Sean Strickland, for all the shit that he talks about, videos of him KOing his sparring partners, you know talking about, oh, I fight like I spar like I fight, and then trying to roast Izzy for watching anime and say he beats off to cartoons, all just to go and become a jab merchant for 25 minutes. Okay, it's like you went the distance with fucking Jack Hermanson. Okay, yes, you definitively beat him. It should have been a 49-46 unanimous, not a split decision. But it's like it's fucking Jack Hermanson. Okay, it's like yeah, you got a quick finish against Abbas Magomedov. It's like it was Magomedov's fucking second fight in the UFC, dude. Of course he got a fucking finish. All right, you had a close fight against Jared Cannonier, who got dominated by Izzy, by the way. Now I know. If I could go to Sean Strickland's house right now while he's asleep, hit him on the head with a brick, and Sean Strickland could still kill me like instantly. Okay, with that acknowledged, I just don't see what anything about his fighting style that he could bring to the table that would feel like a threat to Adesanya. Okay, at least Pereira, despite his inexperience, had the power and at least was finishing guys in kickboxing as well as MMA. At least and I know that just a few months ago I was very confident about another middleweight matchup where I was like, oh yeah, there's no way that DDP beats Robert Whitaker, and that did happen. But at least DDP has that X factor of being unpredictable. Even if he sometimes looks super goofy and ass in his fights, at least his unorthodoxness, there's a method to that madness. DDP creates hell, and he does that. Okay, like how dangerous is Sean Strickland, man? Okay. Once again, I could give him the fact that, he's defensively sound, he's got good cardio, at least he jabs. As much as I want to roast him about being a jab merchant, at least he jabs. Okay. With that said, like he doesn't feel that dangerous to me. He doesn't have a neutral or an equalizer like Pereira's power or DDP's unorthodox style. Okay, Sean Strickland has a boxing heavy style. It's going to be susceptible to leg kicks. I see this fight just being Izzy leg kicking and jabbing at range. Okay, he's gonna move. Sean Strickland's gonna press forward. Izzy's gonna leg kick. Maybe there'll be a point where Izzy's backs toward the cage. Izzy's gonna use his movement, move laterally, leg kick, and then repeat. Okay, it's just gonna be dancing circles around the cage. I think it's probably gonna be a pretty boring fight. Outside of a potential finish that Adesanya is gonna get. I mean, I know that I try to be as objective as possible, but I also try to also emphasize that it's still going to be biased. Okay, it is evident that I'm biased against Sean Strickland. Okay, yes, I do not like Sean Strickland. All right, but once again, the odds show that I'm not the only one. I'm not betting on Izzy just because I don't like Sean Strickland. Okay, a lot of people think and agree with me that Adesanya is going to win this. All right, by a pretty comfortable decision. Maybe if Strickland somehow outstrikes Izzy, then middleweight has gone to shit. All right. Yeah, I mean, maybe there would be some day where I'll give my opinion on Sean Strickland. I mean, it's not that deep. You know what I mean? To each their own, right? People like him, and that's in a discussion for a entirely different time. And you know what? That's not what we're here for. We're here to give predictions. I'm not here to talk about why I don't like Sean Strickland. It ain't that deep. At the end of the day, like I said, he could kill me instantly. And you know what? He's best of luck to Sean Strickland because he's got a big challenge ahead of him, a big step up in competition. Gotta say. So there you have it. That's my splurge of UFC 293. Once again, I didn't really go into too much detail about the matchups because, I feel like the card could change at any time and I feel like I ranted a lot about the main event. So yeah, just kind of go through the card. We're hoping for a great war with Jack Jenkins versus Chippy Mariscal. I have Mariscal by decision. Um, Carlos Ulberg is probably going to get a pretty entertaining finish. Tyson Pedro is probably going to get either an entertaining finish or, you know, a decision where he just gasses. Let's hope for a redemption for this heavyweight banger right here. I mean, I don't know. Flyweight's pretty high level. You never know. I know Steven Ursay kind of got a upset win, but yeah, Manel Cop. We want Tai Tuivasa to win. I think it's a tall task with the tall man that's Alexander Volkov, and of course Israel Adesanya by 49-46, maybe 50-45 decision. And there you have it. Maybe I don't seem excited right now because I know I'm not going to watch this card. I'll be too busy on vacation as well as a different time zone. So yeah, there you have it. Let me know your picks down below. How excited are you for this card? Do you want Sean Strickland to win? Do you find him entertaining? Do you think that he will be one of the more entertaining middleweight champions? Let me know your picks down below. And yes, thank you for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.